This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Happy New Year, everyone. We are joined once again by our holistic and integrative nurse practitioner. It's Abigail Bruce joining us today from the San Francisco Bay Area and owner at AbigailMindBodySoul. How are you doing on this new year, darling?
I am doing great. It has been a very full winter thus far for me. I've been working a lot, doing, so many different things, and I'm really excited to share some of it, preparing for the new year. In fact, I have a workshop that I am going to be hosting on Sunday, and it's in tune to some of the conversation I wanted to share with you today. Just to kind of brief people a little bit more, I am a holistic and integrative nurse practitioner. I received my integrative primary care at UCSF. And before that, I was a student at UC Berkeley, and I graduated with honors in anthropology and archaeology. And I have always had a great appreciation for cultures and spirituality and healing, wellness, and medical anthropology and the earth's wisdom. And I find that as I've become more in tune with what people need, they need coaching, they need someone in their court, they need tools. And I found that it was very hard for me to do that in primary care and even in psychiatric mental health care that I was doing before. So the work that I do now as a certified hypnotherapist, as a transformational life coach, as an intuitive, as a healer, a meditation teacher, it is integrated and tailored. And what I want to say for today is that we all need hope. We all need inspiration. We all need time to honor ourselves. And that means reflecting on this past year and to shed what is been holding us back, to shed the fears, to shed the confusion, the doubts. And so I'm hoping that this next year is going to be really powerful for myself. I'd like to set that intention, but also for all of you. And there's so much out there right now. Great resources that I want to just bring people to awareness. Now, you're listening to this here on Global Podcast, but perhaps that means you really love podcasts in general. And I want to be able to guide you to some really excellent podcasts that I think are already in the wheel of doing things and can be really a spark for you. That said, I also want to hopefully take us through some reflective questions and an opportunity for us to just synthesize and reflect on last year, then to let go of it, because we've just come from, in traditional Chinese medicine, the year of the snake, which is all about shedding. And January is actually more connected to this shedding too. So it's an opportunity for us to kind of let go of anything else that we've brought in from 2025 and to be able to really let it all go and then to step into who we are, what are our values, what's important to us, are we in alignment to that, where do we need to fine tune and edit in pieces in our life, in all domains and all aspects, so that we can be our best selves, so we can be in harmony, so we can be well, and living more in abundance. And I'm very, very also attuned to what's going on in the world, the greater piece of what's going on in the world. And the primary focus of what I have recognized is that it starts with the I. We have to have a healthy relationship to ourselves. We have to be in harmony with our authentic truths. We have to be able to take time to honor ourselves and love ourselves. And then the broader is the we, and that we're all interconnected, and that our prayers and our hopes and our goals not need to just be focused on ourselves, but how they will help others too. It's the ripple effect. It's how we inspire each other. And you're all the way in New York City. I'm all the way here in California. And we can, just with the intention, and whoever's listening at any point in time all over the place, is for us to weave our goals and our dreams and our love for this planet, for humanity, because I feel that we're much more likely to align when we're channeling and connected to a bigger divine purpose and mission of who we are and what we want in our day-to-day life. And it starts again with that relationship to self and the relationship that we have with everyone else, our children, the people we're dating or not dating, the bosses, the workplace. I work with executives and C-level leaders, and they too are also needing to tap into their values again, who they are as a person and how it's being reflected, say, in the workplace, how it impacts their company. How does it impact people, not just for the bottom line and the money, but how the ripple effect is happening and impacting the globe, because we are all interconnected. I had a deep connection with someone who was in the fishing industry. I just want to use this as an example. And they were doing their big fishing industry, salmon. So they're very aware that we're limiting the salmon and we're overfishing. They're also farming. And we had a moment where their little daughter came in running and said, what about the pelicans? What about the dolphins? What about the whales? Are they going to get the salmon if we keep fishing? And the CEO had to answer his little daughter and think, I wonder if I need to bring this to the board. I wonder if I need to connect and think about how our work is relating. I haven't even thought about that. And so they started to integrate a better, I want to say more resources to what they can do for farming, how they can make the salmon healthy, so that we can eat them, and it's farmed salmon, so that they can leave more for all of the planet to be able to thrive in the oceans. This is just one example of recognizing the interconnectedness of us, and that through insight and reflection, we can be our best selves. We can actually start to recognize how our little day-to-day lives are having a ripple effect. That little girl's question just impacted the board of a big company. And I get goosebumps thinking about this kind of stuff, because I think about how some of us out there might feel that we're bored with our work, or why are we doing this? Does it have direct involvement to our sense of joy? Am I tapping into my creativity? Am I getting older and older and working in the cobs of work, and feeling hamster on the hamster wheel? The time that we can take to slow down and have introspection, and to have time to say what's been working for us, what hasn't been working for us, what am I doing this for, what is my why, what is the guiding purpose. So this is how I want to set the stage as we talk about what the new year looks like for us. How not only are we impacting ourselves and our bodies, our mental body, our physical body, our spiritual light energy bodies, but how are we also impacting each other? What can we do to tailor, to fine tune, and make greater impact, and be more dynamic and more balanced together as we operate? And so we're not just auto walking through the cities and in somewhere else, but we're being present to how we impact everywhere we go, everybody we talk to, how we smile, how we send someone a compliment, how we make someone feel so good that it ripples through their body through that love. I want to set the stage for that kind of impact for each of you that you are powerful. You are so powerful. And it's about claiming that sovereignty and living with intention and coming back to the core values of who you are and why you're here, So that is me in a nutshell. And this is where I'm feeling so passionate about this new beginning for the new year.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. And I love, this fresh start, and everyone deserves a chance. Everyone deserves a better life. What do you want if you're listening today? What do you need? And I know you're here to help guide and teach us this, because we all truly deserve to be happy. And, a lot of people make New Year's resolutions. They try. They don't stick with them. Usually health related, right? Working out more, eating better. But let me just ask you, as a nurse practitioner, what is the reason why these types of resolutions, hey, I want to change, doesn't work? What are some of the key things that we're missing, would you say, that someone like yourself could help us with the proper tools to make it stick?
Well, first, I want to say I have been humbled in life to say that I have made lots of resolutions that have never came to pass. I have certainly tried certain things that I set the intention, even for tomorrow, I'm going to go do this. We have such a short attention span. And so if we just think it through and set it as an intention without writing it down, without creating a structure, without having accountability, without knowing what we are really passionate about and what we're bound to love doing so easily that we do it all the time, we fail. And I don't want to say fail in a bad way. I don't want anyone to feel like shame in any way for all the things that we have tried to do with such good intention. We want to feel healthy. We want to feel fit and trim, and whether or not it's to be stronger, flexible, resilient, just well. The big piece that I have found is a system, and everybody has to have a system that is tailored to themselves. But there are some key aspects to the systems that I found work really well, tied in with whether or not you're living on your own and you have you feel like you just are very independent. It has to be a system that's quite independent versus having something that is outside of yourself, like outer accountability with a buddy system, where you're sharing and saying your values, you're saying and sharing what's really important to you and what you're wanting. I want to say in all the health experience that I've had is we work with motivational interviewing, but we also are looking at having something that's quite practical and having something that's very specific. So I could say, I want to be healthier this year. What does that mean? It has to be so specific. It might be that I want to eat a salad 4 times a week, and I want to eat steamed vegetables every other day. And I'm going to eat one type of protein with that meal, and it's going to look colorful. That is specific. You know exactly whether or not you're going to be able to do that. You are able to reflect and see, did that work? Was that actually coherent to what I really want? You might want to fine tune it. I think a lot of people set intentions in the new year and there is no structure in place. They forget it by next week, or maybe they do well for a month or something. But again, it's about long-term systems. So part of it is being specific. Another part of it is how to integrate it into something that you've done before. I think that there's a lot of research on that. And I can direct you on my website with some examples and some great books and references too, that are evidence-based practices that can be really helpful. One of the ones that I love knowing in hypnotherapy and NLP is that we need to be triggered to remember things. It could be a reminder that bounces up on our screen or on our phone, a bell that tells us to stop and breathe and think of somebody that we love or something like that. But what is really important is that it is a trigger to remind you of that why, of that thing that you're wanting. And that could be like lighting a scented candle that you use only when you are going to be writing and thinking about being creative, or a certain kind of playlist of only when you want to go and clean your house and organize and declutter, or something along the lines to a trigger that creates a neuronal pathway and helps you link to what it is that you're wanting. The other time that we talk about, and a lot of different specialists talk about pairing. So, for example, this might be something that isn't necessarily something you like right now, such as going for a 20-minute walk every single day, a 20-minute walk in the morning, or a 20-minute walk after work, or something like that. Maybe you don't like that very much, but maybe there is something that you really do like that you could attach to it, match it, so that you're pairing the two things of something that you love to do. And for example, for me, I'm commuting into the city. I love listening to books on tape, taking me out into another world, right? That is my trigger that, I'm going into the office, I'm going into work, I'm going to work with other nurses, I'm going into a different world. It's my trigger. It is my thing that I look forward to. So I actually have learned to really love my hour commute one way, which is a lot. We're all in that. But now think about it on a level of, if those books are so important to me, those audiobooks that I love that take me away into other worlds and other places, maybe I need to attach it to something like exercise or walking, or doing something a little bit like, I'm going to listen to this book, I'm only going to listen to these types of books if I'm doing a few push-ups, a few sit-ups, I'm doing my core planking, I'm getting into my home Pilates, or I'm going for that work or a walk or whatever it is. So again, you're taking something that you can't wait to get back into and you're doing it. That's another example. I found some people do really well with accountability by writing things down. I don't know the exact percentage, but when you start to write things down, you're activating frontal cortex. You are creating a sense of seeing and almost hearing in your mind what you're writing down. While you write it down, you're creating yet another neuronal pathway. You are more likely to do what you write down. Yes, you could text it. I'm really good at texting. I'm probably better at texting than I am writing at this stage in my life. But I actually think that the writing is actually quite important. To see the words, to flow with the words, to create is almost like another way of creating connection to that which you wish to do and be and see. And I would think that the other big piece that's really important for people that find that they get stuck is that a lot of the goals that we have, not only just because they're not specific, but they're not doable. Maybe it's not that they're doable in life, but perhaps it has more to do with it needs to be something that you know you can achieve, something that you know is within your grasp, so you don't lose steam and you don't feel defeated when you can't do it. I have never written a book. I have a couple books in my mind. One is on unconscious uncoupling and helping people go through separation in a conscious way with love and integrity. I was married for 16 years and I went through a conscious uncoupling, and we still care very much for each other, and it's been a beautiful thing. Have I written the book? No. Now, if I had set the intention, I'm going to write this book and it's going to be a bestseller, I don't know if it will be a bestseller. Who knows? But what I can say is maybe I'm going to try to consolidate the experience in this next year. And I'm going to write about all the different stages of my own pain, my own experiences, whatever it was. And each day I'm going to write 2 paragraphs. And I'm just going to type, and I'm going to start to see, what would people need? What would people want? how do we do this better? How can we be better people at separating? How can we be kind and compassionate? We don't have to go into arguing. We don't have to go into hatred. We don't have to have those energies within us. Then I'm writing something that is quite tangible for me. I'm writing something that's quite doable for me. I don't care if there's going to be a book at the end. I'm just focused on what can I do today that writes 2 paragraphs that could be meaningful for somebody, that could help somebody else. So you can see that that feels a lot less intimidating, for me at least. It doesn't set me up for feeling like the perfectionism in my consciousness is going to stall all of those intentions, all of those really good intentions, because I think a lot of us are so critical, so hard on ourselves. And so we stall, or I want to say sabotage. We do so much because we're worried it's not going to be perfect. So again, breaking things down into bite-sized things that you know you can achieve, that you know are doable. So it might be, for example, if you want community this year, that's a core, something that people are wanting, right? That would be that you might contact every single day one person that you have on your contact list and reconnect with them. If that feels too scary, start with the people that you know and love. Just sending them little love messages and sending them, hi, I'm thinking about you. How's your New Year's going? How can we support each other in our goals? How can we be best together? How can we take our lives to the next level? So maybe it is having something that's small and achievable to start with. The other part that I want, and that kind of goes back into behavioral science and habit forming. And I think as a hypnotherapist, I've done a lot of work with people and helping them with habits, specifically like eating less sugar, drinking less wine, being able to go for that walk every single day and moving your body intuitively, or smoking cessation, stopping vaping, things like that. It can be really helpful to work with the subconscious mind, because you dive into why the habit began in the first place. That is really an important piece, is to go to the root cause of what it's serving you, what it started to serve you in the beginning. Like, I don't know, eating popcorn. You eat like a bowl of popcorn. Oh no, who's going to really eat a whole bowl of popcorn? They're going to end up eating like 6 cups worth of popcorn, something like that. That's a great example. So you can think about what is your why, and you go back and you do this kind of work. I think this is really helpful to do this with somebody, whether you're working with a coach or a therapist. You're checking into the root cause of doing the habit, of doing something that you started so long ago, and it was there to help you in the long run. And you're tapping into recognizing that this is no longer serving me. This is no longer a healthy habit. It was a habit that protected me or released some anxiety, or I chewed off my stress or something like that. I fed and nourished myself because I wasn't giving myself something. It's helpful to have someone outside to have the reflections. I'm not saying you can't do it alone, but I think that can be a really important piece, is to understand the habit in the first place and where it began, go to the root cause of it and release the root cause of it. It might be anger, it might be fear, it might be whatever it might be. And then again, lastly, I think why we fail is because we set these big, broad things for the whole year. And maybe the timeline isn't the right timeline for us.
Wow. Well, this is, guys, well, I have a lot to think about, and I just want to know, your take. What do you have personally on your agenda for the new year? What is inspiring you to get through this year? What are some of the things in your life that you need to work on? Just curious, because I know we could all relate, and I can tell you what I need to change too.
Yeah. I feel that in honesty, I think I have been reaching and grasping a little bit too far. And what that means is I'm coming from a place of fear. I have been coming from a place of perhaps sometimes slipping into scarcity consciousness, is what I call it, where there's a lack of something. I'm not living from a place of abundance. And that means that I'm not checking in and connecting to source. So for me, one of my goals is spiritual. It's to reconnect with that practice. And I, as someone who's intuitive and who works and communes and connects with higher self, the wisdom within myself, if I'm not creating a practice every day, I get stuck in this very 3D world. And that's where I start to experience the fears, and I live and operate very unconsciously. So part of my goal as a spiritual mentor is to walk the talk in a way. And that means creating that practice every morning where I'm saluting to the sun and I'm connecting with my higher self. And I'm redefining what it is that I'm here for, calling in my sovereignty, calling in my power, aligning to the earth, connecting to my guides, connecting to my higher self, and saying, let me be on purpose. Let me live with full love, to be transparent, to be authentic, to emanate that, and to walk that talk, and to protect myself from those lower thought processes, those lower emotional things that we stress in. So that's a little bit of a personal one that I'm coming back to. And I think it also, as an athlete, I was much more into going to the gym when I lived in the city. Now I don't have a city. I'm living in the countryside. I love to get out and walk. I love to get out and jog when I can, but do I do it? I end up playing with my kitten and getting sidetracked easily. So a very smart goal, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, might be something a little bit smaller. Every single month, I am going to review, is this goal working for me? Is this goal relevant for me? So once I get back into the swing of something, as I get back into connecting, watching the sunrise, connecting with God, connecting with my source, I know the next step would be, I want to go for that walk, because it falls into place when I'm in alignment, because it's so core to who I am. I need to get into nature. I need to connect. I need to see the ocean or the trees or something before I sit in front of a computer and be present for all my clients.
So true.
That might mean literally getting up. Or I love to dream. So my thing is
me too. Did you say dream or drink? I like both. You said dream.
Dream.
Me too. That's why I can't get up these days. I'm having such vivid, amazing dreams. But my mom, who's passed 8 years now, she's in them, and I just feel so alive in my dreams. Everything I'm dreaming about. It's beautiful. I don't want to ever wake up.
So let's talk about that next time, because dreaming is so important. And I believe that dreams are the answers to the questions we didn't think to ask. I think Agent Mulder and the FBI, I think who was it that some sort of a TV show was all about dreamscapes. And
really?
And I think I wrote it for my senior quote. I can't remember. Anyway, I would love to talk about that, because we can get a lot of guidance and a lot of insight into how we are and where we are in life based on our dreams. And interestingly, when my mom comes to me, my mom passed away as well. She died in my arms when I was 21. And I always told her, come and visit me in my dreams. And it's very rare when she comes to me in my dreams. And usually it's to call me out on something. It's to get me back on track. So I'm very curious to hear about your dreams with your mother. And
perfect. We'll definitely talk about that next time. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I would love to.
it's like it really is a visitation. I just want you to recognize that too. It's a true visitation, and it's a beautiful, rare thing when your light body and her light body energetically can touch and kiss and hold and hear and see. And you are so deeply connected to those that have passed on.
Thank you.
So I'm glad that she's there. I'm glad that she's visiting you.
Thank you. Me too. Aw. Well, we have to go. I'm so sorry. How do we contact you, sweetheart?
You can go on my website, AbigailMindBodySoul. You can fill out a form. You can email me at info@AbigailMindBodySoul. And I am doing that workshop this Sunday if you want to join me online. And I'm going to be doing a guided group hypnosis too for that you can keep as a recording to use and connect you through the year to help you with motivation and intention and staying true, along with ongoing support from me too. So
perfect. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Good to see you.
Same here, sweetheart. Happy New Year. Can't wait to talk again next time and
Okay.
have more of these dreams. I'll write them down. I love them.
Please.
All right. Good and the bad I love. All right. Bye, sweetheart. Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.